So welcome to ANZCRL Combined Racing League's round 5 at the Texas Motor Speedway road course for the Formula Ford Championship. Currently we're just at the whole position of our qualifying with just sight laps only allowed until the last 5 minutes remaining. It's just so we can organise the two lobbies because we have our first 15-minute practice session, which will allocate the positions in the two lobbies. We've got 12 in the top tier and 8 in the second. Both Whopper has come in and it looks like Par as well. They both jumped in from tier 2 lobby up to this top tier with their practice times. Managed to do a 31.9, I think it was, which was the cutoff. And Illogical Sports and Timmy were the two that dropped out from the top lobby during the practice session. So we've got a minute before the qualifying starts for a 5-minute qualifying session. So we just count down the last 15 seconds and we should be good to start. Aussie Carter's was the fastest, I think, within the practice session in the top lobby. So now the qualifying has now begun. And it's a mad dash coming out of pit lane now. So Weary Knight looks like he's the first car out on track. So lap times of just over 1 minute 30. They should get at least 2 flying laps in. Guys that have come out nice and early. Aussie Carter's has already got a little penalty, maybe a grid penalty. Maybe speeding in pit lane. There's nothing that come up there. No, he's just close to someone. Oops. That's all it is. Someone's trailing in close behind. Good afternoon to Lloydie. Good evening. And this should be a very entertaining race around the Texas Motor Speedway. A lot of drafting. LBC can be draft king. As we said, both Whopper here in the number 14 and Par in the Southern Cars number 37 car. Both jumped from second lobby up to the top lobby with their practice times. So they're with the big boys tonight for this round. As we reset again for Cadwell Park, half following this one. They again do their 15-minute practice, which will allocate the positions in the lobby. It looks like it's a bit hazy there this afternoon in Texas. These guys now are on their official first flying lap, coming out of turn 2 into turn 3. Right, so I just managed to get through there before the car in front spun. Some of the guys on Thursday night practice was mentioning just touching the inside curb of this little fast chicane can really send their car flying. So something to be wary of during the race. We'll keep an eye on that. Might see some spills. Darky, I think, was around about second fastest in the practice. Here he's in that Sharif's 35 car, just trailing the number 8. Looks like Darky's just sitting there to get a really good draft, and he jumps up to second with a 30.923 with Dread. Set the fastest with a 30.728. This will be the last lap for all these guys. Darky could just get held up through the infield section. Very close. Darky get that power on. That car on the inside just to tuck away. That's good. And I think he's been held up, Darky. Aussie Carter's now second. That's ruined Dread's run. So the man I think we need to watch is Aussie Carter's to see what he can do. That's his one of his good mates, Scott Gecko there, that number 2 in the Cassius Racing. And go through. That's the end of qualifying. These guys coming through to the end. You can see what Aussie Carter's can do. He can get topple Dread, who unfortunately got held up with the slower cars in his second qualifying run. And Whopper has just jumped up to second. He'd be very happy with that after, as I said, starting off in the second lobby for their practice session. And Aussie Carter's has just shown all weekend from Thursday practice how fast he can be with a 30.2. 30.279, that's a sensational time. We've Dread 501. He is second with Whopper starting third alongside Dark Racing 40. As we know, Darky can normally have a good start, and it'll be interesting to see if he can follow Aussie Carter's Dread, but find him coming through into that first turn 3. He's going to be very interesting between these 4. Right Sower done a terrific job in 5th. Dado Racer in 6th. Gear 3 Gaming, Par, Weary Night, and Jetto. It's a little bit slower from the practice sessions. They were all in 31s. Probably maybe with just a little bit of the fog. And we'll just go down and see the last 2. And we've got Gecko and the Caleb. The Caleb had dropped a bit of pace there as well. Okay, so we'll continue on to the race. And yes, definitely Aussie Carter's. He deserves all the accolades for that fast qualifying time. But now we've got 17 laps around this fast and a bit tricky infield section of the track. Some real slow corners where they got to come down from a higher speed, which we've seen the cars a little bit unsettled during Thursday practice. Some of the cars a bit loose in the rear end. But some of the guys have been able to obviously control that and go really fast. So we've got overcast skies. It's the race time at 1700 hours, and the date is set at the 10th of the 5th, 2020. As we've always had for the last for this series, our first series of 2020, the damage is actually set to performance impacting. So it just allows the guys just to race that little bit harder and not worry about losing a wheel, but they will obviously get sustained suspension damage and things like that. So that's it, and then obviously all the driver assists are off, as the normal Formula Fords would be. And we might just stick on Whopper on the inside, just behind Aussie Carter's. And that way there we might be able to see that battle and just see how Darky gets off the line. And just behind Darky is also Dado Racer, who's been known to start not too bad either. So could be very interesting after the bankings of turns 1 and 2 into turn 3. So here we go, they've all readied up. And tyre wear is set to accelerated as well. And everything else is pretty much seems sort of standard. Off they go, and Aussie Carter's had a great start. And he's going to hold down the inside with Whopper, keeping Darky at bay. And Dado Racer has made up one spot there as well. Got right, so has had a bad start actually, he's in 8th. And Gecko is tucking in behind Dado. So it looks like he's going to try and take that inside line. Ooh, Dredd just having a go on the inside of, I mean, it was on the outside. We have Darky coming up in the inside of Dredd. And now it looks like Whopper's got that inside. Or was it Gecko? Whopper's actually lost out. So got Gecko. Ooh, that was always going to end in tears. Unfortunately, we don't know if the guys got reset the car, but that was the little chicane we were talking about. It was going to cause some problems. And it definitely did take Gecko out and Whopper. It's very or was it Dredd? Dredd's the man on the on his that's the championship leader. And he's actually retired. He hasn't had a reset button back to the wheels. We do allow guys to have that button. It's a personal choice. I know some of us do run, including myself. We don't run that button. Usually if we end up upside down, that's the end of our race. A bit of a hard luck story, but that's going to just shake a few things up. We do have 2 of your worst scoring rounds to drop round. But that has definitely thrown the championship up. Coming into these last 4 rounds of the championship. We're only midway through the 8-round championship. Now Aussie Carter's and Dado's just trying to defend from right Zoa. He'll stick around the outside. He'll have the inside line into turn 4, which he's done. He's kept right Zoa there on the outside. And this is a little chicane where it all turned bad. Jetto, a lot of pressure behind with Gecko. Gecko's means business. Here he comes, a great move up the inside. He's the one that was involved with Dredd, so obviously he'd have a little bit of suspension damage, but obviously able to continue. And Aussie Carter's is clicking his heels. And he's basically cleared himself away from the draft. Darky might get a little bit of a draft. We probably want Whopper to come up to try and help him. Still a long race. It's about a 25-minute race. So you can see that Darky is actually has dropped. He is making time in this draft. So Aussie Carter's is still not safe. And Darky's going to have a lot of run coming into turn 3. And hopefully he can pull it up nicely. And Dado's having a good look at the inside of Whopper. And Whopper's giving him a lot of room. Whopper would be really looking forward to some good points here tonight. We didn't have a very good round a fortnight ago. This is our summer series. We run every fortnight here at ANZ Combined Racing League. And Series 2 coming up. That'll be a weekly series. 7 rounds, European Le Mans Series, starting in April the 19th. Oh, and here goes right Zoa, almost in the back of Dado's gearbox. And Darky's all over the back of Aussie Carter's at the moment. And coming onto the main straight, out of that final corner. Darky's going to really tuck in and try and bring also Dado back up into the picture. We can probably just see the speed. You can see what the draft is helping. He's nearly getting over 200 kilometres an hour. These little Formula Ford engines just revving off their, bouncing off pretty much off the red line. Darky's just sort of probing. Look at the run that Dado's had. Dado's going to look. Aussie Carter's been left for surprise. Been looking at Darky, and next thing you know, Dado has found himself on the inside. Can he make this move? Can he make it stick? He's trying to force out Aussie Carter's out on the edge of the track. And Aussie, he's experienced enough. He's been around the traps. He's held his nerve. That was a great bit of racing. And now Darky's dropped from second to fourth. Look at this, and Gecko is having a good look also with Darky. Entertaining stuff here, only on lap 4 of 17. Oh, Darky's just made a mistake, not where he wants to make a mistake. He's going to really drop a lot of positions here. Now you've got Aussie Carter's still in the lead. He fought off that battle. He had 3 coming at him. And we're looking at dark racing, and Dado just came flying up the inside and momentarily had first position. And Aussie Carter's kept it on the outside, which gave him turn 4 on the inside. And now Gecko's closing ever so slightly. He's going to have that nice run coming into turn 3. It's all about if they can pull it up. You can see how wide that he's been able to hold on to it, but Aussie's back at him. And we've got to change the position on lap 5. Gecko, and just behind we've got Road Slower taking that position back from Dado. Dado's just run a little bit wide mid-corner. He's been having a little bit of difficulty through turn 4. He's still got Whopper right on the back of him. Jetto's now joined in, pitched into the fight. Oh, and Jetto just muddled up his braking. And 2 teammates almost coming together. He definitely came together with Dado. And that's Darky's licking his lips and saying thank you very much. I'll have that 6th position again. And he's now chasing back down Whopper. Exciting stuff for this round 5 of the Formula Ford Championships. With our big news was our championship leader out on lap 1 with a contact with him and Gecko. And Gecko has been able to get himself back up into first, but now he's under attack with Aussie Carter's on the outside of turn 2 on the lead up into turn 1. I tell you what, the Cassius boys have really got their cars firing. You've got Right Sail just behind in third, so you've got first and third at the moment. Right Sail is doing a tremendous job in third. He's bringing back that pace that we saw in rounds 1 and 2. Dado just holding strong in fourth. Darky slowly catching him. This battle up front, I think it's going to go all race long. And Aussie just had a beautiful line down the inside. Probably just tuck in for the draft. Have a good run. Well, we saw, we'll go to Aussie Carter's. We did see Darky nudging 200 kilometres an hour coming into the turn 1, NASCAR 1. We'll see what Aussie Carter's can do with this draft on Gecko. You can already see 201 till climbing. maxing it out around about 203 and then washing off speed on the banking. These two have cleared themselves out of the draft, right, so I just can't quite get in there. At the moment, Gecko's just defending the inside. It's really the turn 3 has been where all the action's been. Now we've got Jeddo in the Jiffy Trans Racing team with also Whopper behind him, his teammate, and they're trying to defend off Gear 3 Gaming in the number 21 Kerosene Racing, which we haven't seen much of in this series, in this round. Currently third in the championship. Actually fourth in the championship, sorry. We have Dado Racer second and Dark Racing third. My mistake. But, we've just got Whopper just running a little bit wide. Then we've got, we'll just have a look down here. We've got the Caleb just running a lonely race here in last. And he did a good time to actually get into stay in the top lobby, so he's going to get some nice valuable points. So he scored points between the two lobbies. And Aussie Carter's now on a big draft, coming out of into the tri-oval part of the Texas Motor Speedway. The track where IndyCar drivers were blacking out. They were going that fine and that much G-force, so much speed on these high banks, which I believe they've actually softened the banks a little bit. They're not as the angle's not as steep. Trying to control that the pace that the IndyCars can do around this super speedway. And now we're back onto the road course section in the infield. Looks like Gecko just made a little mistake coming out turn 3, which has given Carter's a little sniff. I think Aussie Carter's, he's just biding his time, knowing how good that slipstream works. You can see their cars are set up. They've been hitting that right-hand curb. No, not a problem at all. He's got his bumps, all his dampers set correctly. As I said, some of the other guys were having difficulty. Oh, look at Dado and Darky at it again. They're slowly been catching back up to right, so at the same time. So what can Dado do? Can he hold off Darky? Darky's definitely on a mission to get back up to the pointy end of this field after making a mistake, getting caught out on the outside. When Gecko came down the inside, I think it was, or Dado came down the inside of Aussie Carter's. Oh, look at Dado just catching right, so the drafting for these Formula 4s of this track is superb. And we've got Darky now just trying to see what he can do with that draft. Right, so it's just sitting duck, but he's kept that right-hand lane and down the inside. Ooh, Darky's just ended up on his roof. I don't think he was involved in any accident there, unless he clipped wheels with Dado. He was making a little move at the last end. Not a round for Darky again. He had troubles both at the last two races. I'm trying to remember where they were. My mind's gone on me. Yeah, it's Darky's started off the season well with a 0 in both Knock Hill actually. He's only Knock Hill he finished last in the top lobby, I believe. Jeddo and Whopper need to just work together. Gear 3 Gaming, we missed the overtake that he's made. He's actually got a little penalty over his head. We'll just have a quick look to see. 1 second, and Rightso's got a 6-second penalty. That's going to cost him dearly at the end of the race. So Rightso really needs to get the hammer down the best he can, but here we come. And both Gear and Jeddo and Whopper coming up on the back of Gear. He's par in the southern cars, following Weary Night. He's actually done not a bad job in 8th. He stayed out of all the trouble. Just moseying around there in 8th. The Flat Out Alliance team. So we've got someone just saying maybe that's what happened with Darky. The Jetto outbraked himself and got into the back of Darky, which flipped him over, which has now got Darky in the pits. So unfortunately, now Jetto though, I don't know if it was Jetto, could have been, but Jetto's now obviously here behind Gear. I thought Darky was near Dado, but we missed all that anyway, so Dado's just found himself up into 3rd. He's made the move on right sower, coming around the banking of turn 2. He's going to be on the outside though. And the battle but here down here with Gear and Jetto and Whopper is just simmering. And we never know. Ooh. Just a little touch between the teammates. Oh, and that's unsettled Jetto. Oh, into the tyre barriers. It's going to be a little bit of damage with Jetto. 2 teammates, they're not going to like that debrief after this race. The teammates have been getting in the way of each other. Oh, and Gecko just getting this tank slapper, which has opened it up for Aussie Carters into the final corner before we get back onto the Super Speedway. What will we see here with Aussie Carters? Will he make this move? Now on lap 11 of 17. Darky's back out of the pits. And Gecko's just holding that inside line like you have to. And got Aussies on the outside. Let's tuck him back in and see if he can swap over and down the inside and make a big lunge. We'll start setting him up, I think. As the laps are going to run out, going to have to find out where he's going to make a move on Gecko. This is going to help Gecko's run into the championship as well. Currently 8th, and Aussie Carter's 5th. Now, if you've missed, the big news was that the championship leader, Dread 501, was crashed out of lap 1, sorry, in coming into the little chicane area on the infield. A little bit of a screen, little freeze, and we've just got one of the slower cars. One of the, looks like Jetto, struggling to get back to the pits. Now everyone's fuel, I think most everyone's fuel should be alright, but we'll just run through the field. We've got Gecko on 6.2, so he'll be right. And Aussie Carters, he's got enough there. And Dado Racer. He's just defending with right sower. He looks like he's going to try and have a big run. Aussie Carters is having another run down the inside. Oh, around the outside, sorry. And Gecko's really setting his line down the inside, making Aussie Carters work hard. Well, we've seen Gecko just have a little slip up coming out of turn 3, so could be a move down here on the inside for Aussie Carters into turn 4. We'll just go through, and plenty going on here with Gear 3 Gaming now caught on the back of right sower. 6.7 litres of fuel, so both Dado, right sower had about 9 litres, so he's definitely right. Whopper's 5.2, he should just ease the finish there. It's going to be close with Whopper. Weary Night 10.2, ooh, par 4.1. Not 100% sure how much fuel they're using. And Jetto just coming in now in the pits, which will give Dark Racing, will jump into 10th, I'd say, with that. But we'll just maybe stay with this battle and see what sort of fuel burn they're doing. We've got about 4 laps remaining, and what do we have? Parr only had 4.1 litres. I think he's going to struggle. They'll be using more than a litre a lap. He's on 9.1, right, Soa, at the start of lap 14. And he's definitely battling hard. He's on the red limit, so this will be a good way to see how much fuel they're using per lap. In the draft with Dado, trying to defend Gear 3 Gaming. So right, so just trying to get on the outside, and Dado gave him the no argue. Right, so now defending a very fast Gear 3 Gaming, who's got championships glittering in his eyes for 2020. Dado's doing an outstanding job in third. They've just dropped off there, 12 seconds off the lead, defending these right so on Gear 3 Gaming. Probably slow these lot down. Yeah, so it looks like they're running roughly nearly a probably actually 0.9 of a litre a lap, maybe, not even that. So no, looks like the other guys will be right. It's not even a litre a lap, so Parr will be right. He's calculated that. Oh, he's still going to be close, I think. He's going to find it hard. The Aussie Carter's still on the outside. He's got to try and get the inside of, I think, here. That's where he's going to make that move, I believe. Turn 4 on the inside. Unless he gets a good run, and if we've seen actually Gecko get a little bit unstable sometimes coming out of this. Maybe he'd duck it down the inside. But Gecko placing his car in the right place. The question of fuel will be mainly Parr, is in 8th. And he is at the moment, I think he only had 1 second penalty, where Right Sail had a 6-second penalty, so those positions will change, and Right Sail will be in the dangers of dropping from 4th, maybe down to 7th. Oh, to 6th, sorry. And here goes Aussie Carter's again on the outside, but he loses that draft. When they pull out this on this outside, he just can't keep going with the momentum around the outside. He's got to tuck back in. And all that while, Gecko is just holding that on that left hand on that white line, and giving Carter's no option other than to try and fight around the outside. But he's got to try and, if he can, be on the outside, so he can be on the inside for him to turn 4. Time's running out for Carter's. Aussies has had plenty of time now to try and work out where he might be able to overtake. Oh yeah, again 6 seconds. It's a penalty for Right Sailor. So here we come leading up to our final lap. Dark Racing could be part of an influence of the end result here. Definitely going to be giving Gecko a good little tow. And it looks like Darky's just holding up on the outside to let these two through. Well done. Oh, Aussie's really tucking down the inside. He just tried. He tried just out of shot there. And here he is. He's doing this move around the outside, which I thought he was going to try and do, but he just ran out of track. He was struggling to pull that car up, I think. He was lucky to stay on track there, Carters. But he knew that's probably where he had the best opportunity. Now it's going to be a drag to the finish line. He's going to really have to concentrate to get a good run out of this final corner. Got a few more corners to go. Here he is. He's going to try and get a really big run. It can be a tricky corner to come on. We did see in practice some of these cars get the power on this little bit of concrete, but both these cars seem to be set up really well. Now the run to the flag. Will Gecko keep this first place? He's done extremely well. I could be wrong that if he can get caught up with Dredd, but at this stage here, we've got Aussie Carters on the back of his gearbox. They're side by side, but I think it's just Gecko. Gecko has just got the victory. Tremendous race there. And now we can see what's going to happen with Wright. So is he going to be able to hold on to his, well, looks like he's going to drop actually to fourth. And Gears, he's had enough time over Gear. So Gear's actually dropped out of that race. That's unfortunate. Gear could have had an easy leg into fourth. I think he'll still hold fifth. Gear 3 Gaming. With Whopper in 6. And Parr, we'll just bring up the speed. I see what fuel is. 0.5 of a litre. He's really juggled the fuel gauntlet and come out on top. But here we go. We got Gecko taking his victory here in round 5 at the Texas Motor Speedway. Congratulations. And Aussie Carters coming in second. We've had a great race all for 17 laps. And then Dado Racer, he'll be proud as punch, taking third here at Texas Motor Speedway. We'll just wait till the other guys finish up. Weary Knight, he's ended up finishing 7th. He was in 8th at one stage when we were looking at him, so he'd be happy with that. So very good, entertaining race here for round 5 of the Formula Fords. So don't forget, we'll go back offline for around about 20 odd minutes before we come back to the qualifying for round 6 at Cadwell Park GP. So please come back and join us. Probably around about 9 p.m. Until then, we'll see you then. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back in about half an hour.